Hey sis. Ugh. Gosh, it's super cold in my apartment. Give me a half sec. I love being a fiscally responsible queen. Hey sisterin. So about 4 months ago, my good Judy Lacey of Spooky Lips and Fat Hips released an absolute banger of a video entitled If I Had a Younger Audience, friendly reminders about makeup, shopping, self-confidence, and YouTube. That was the wrong order, but I'm sure Lacey doesn't mind. It's a great video about, you know, what types of messages we as creators are giving to our younger viewers and really all of our viewers. It's a great video, and as I do with all great videos that are made by my YouTube friends, I'ma steal it! I actually filmed my own version of that video the night I watched Lacey's. I was so enthralled by it that I was like, I'm gonna do this right now, and I was not prepared for it at all whatsoeversies. And it was just a super frenetic video and I wasn't making any sense or articulating my points well, and I deleted all the footage because it was bad. But now, I don't feel any more ready to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Really, the reason why I finally decided to do this after months of not doing it has to do with a DM that I got on Instagram. Sometimes you guys being my subscribers, will like tag me in your Instagram stories, and every time you do that, I collapse on the ground. It's the most like a heartwarming thing, and I love it so much. Instagram user by the name of Planted Skies tagged me in their story, and I went to their page and there's 16. And so that is like, oh my god, I have teenagers that watch me. I'm literally everyone's mother. I need to like, are you applying to college? What are your grades like? Do I have to fight any of your teachers? Like, what's happening? I'm everyone's mom. But you know, the lessons that we can impart with our channels can really affect everyone regardless of age. You feel me? I've been having a lot of thoughts recently about if it's a good thing at all to make videos about makeup. I recently watched a short film by the YouTuber M. Ford, who runs the channel My Pale Skin. A couple years ago, she made a heartbreaking film called You Look Disgusting, where it was about how people on the internet react to her when she doesn't have makeup on and she, you know, deals with acne. And then when she does, and it was like, oh my god, why are people like so viscerally terrible to each other based on appearance? Wild! And she made another one called Redefined Pretty, which was all about, you know, it featured the stories of women who deal with acne, scarring, vitiligo, being not the European standard of beauty. And it's like, I didn't really view myself as pretty until I saw other women who looked like me and shared my own features being portrayed as pretty. And like, it also dealt with like the negative impacts of seeing so many photoshopped and face-tuned, and not even just that, but like very thickly made up depictions of women. And it's just like, am I, you know, a part of the problem because I have a makeup YouTube channel? Yes, I am, and we all are, but that's why videos like this are so important. You feel me? It's like, yes, we're using makeup, but we're also trying to educate about it. You know? Okay, we've got the joke of the sweatshirt. I can like actually be close to you now. Hi, how was school? The reason I started spiraling about this whole thing is because the number one thing that you'd think you'd want to tell someone who's impressionable when you run a makeup YouTube channel is, you don't need makeup to be beautiful, right? That seems like it'd be the top of your list. From a consumerism purchasing standpoint, you'd want to impart the wisdom of, you don't need to buy all the makeup you see, you don't need to buy everything influencers tell you to buy, you don't need to buy everything influencers use. Like, yes, those are all important lessons. But just in general, you'd want to tell them makeup is not necessary for you to be complete or a good person or beautiful. It all comes back to beauty. You don't need makeup to be pretty. Your acne is pretty, your stretch marks are pretty, your this, that is pretty. It's fine, you're pretty. You don't need makeup, you're pretty. And I was going to say all those things. And I do believe all those things. Why is my forehead so big? I need bangs. Everything always goes back to beauty. For women, it's the most important thing that we are beautiful, that we are aesthetically palpable for the world at large, for everyone, for men, for other women, for everyone. It's come within my like headspace the idea that what if we don't have to be beautiful? What if we don't prioritize beautiful as the best thing a woman can be? Why do we need to refocus every aspect of a woman as beautiful in order for it to be acceptable? Like, I have stretch marks. I have a lot of stretch marks. I'm a chubby person. And there's a lot of like stretch mark discourse online. And it's like, your stretch marks are lightning tattoos, your stretch marks are tiger stripes, your stretch marks are rivers, or they're just stretch marks. They don't have to be poetic for them to be a part of my body and therefore be something that should be accepted because they're part of me and they're part of a lot of people. It's complicated because I say these things and I do think it's important for us to like sort of dissociate beauty from like the absolute zenith of what a woman can be. But also, like for me personally, and for a lot of other women, like refocusing things that you thought were flaws about yourself as beautiful is one of the chief ways you grow to accept those things about yourself. So is it harmful for me to say like, well, don't think of them as beautiful, think of they can be okay without being beautiful? I feel like I need a dissertation in like feminist theory to make this video. Sorry, I had to run earlier for the train and my body's in shambles as a result. And then, you know, let's talk about makeup for a second. I mentioned sort of in passing in my creator tag video how I do think it's somewhat largely negative that a lot of people try to, you know, mask the compulsion and the need to wear makeup every day as, well, I'm just expressing myself. A lot of people do wear makeup to express themselves and not because they don't feel worth anything without it or they feel ugly without it. And that's fine. Like when it's genuine, it's fine. And there's not necessarily, like, you know, that's fine. But like for me, and I definitely said this whole thing in the video, like when I don't wear mascara, I don't feel like I look good. I'm even like fortunate and privileged in that the amount of makeup I need to wear to like look like a person, as I say to myself, is very minimal. I do my brows, which is just a clear brow gel just to keep them in place. And I put on mascara and like a lip something or other. Sometimes just like my most minimal makeup is brows, mascara, chapstick, out the door to Trader Joe's, you know? Shadow, I'm literally trying to be the voice of a generation. Can you not? Apparently not. Shadow! You're okay, little marshmallow kitty. Alright, she's fine. She's fine. I know people who really can't leave the house without a full coverage foundation on. It's just like stressful because like I feel like we're all like a puppet of, you know, insecurity and the patriarchy and men profiting off of the insecurities of women. And then I'm making it worse because I have a makeup channel. But also, no. But also, yes. But also, no. You see why it's a whole complicated, like I feel like I shouldn't have even made this. But these are all things, like I've seen like this discourse for years on Tumblr and I've like let my eyes glaze over as I scroll past it and ignored it because I'm like, well, I'm having fun so I don't really want to think about the repercussions. But it's like, no, think about the repercussions because they're going to repercuss regardless of whether or not I'm aware of them. I should question the social implications of the things that I create and put on the internet. That's just basic self-PR, you know? Not like PR, like here's the 87 Foundations PR, but like PR as in like, let's make sure the things you're saying and doing aren't negatively impacting people. PR, that kind of PR, real PR. I'm peeling off my nail polish right now because I'm nervous. Oh God. Makeup is very complicated. The way it interacts with our lives is very complicated. And I'm not smart enough to really like fix that because how can I fix that? You can't fix it. But then cycling back, that's why the whole thing of you don't need makeup to be beautiful and worthy, that's why even though that in and of itself has flaws, and like I said, the flaw of that is prioritizing beauty above everything else, that is helpful, you know? Because if you have someone who has like, you know, acne and they're 16 and they feel like they need to wake up an hour earlier, you know, they have to wake up at the crack of dawn to put on their like L'Oreal True Match or whatnot. Or considering how teens today are their freaking Huda somebody or other, you know? If that girl or that anybody hearing you don't need makeup to be beautiful, like you're worthy without this, even if you have acne, even if like your nose is big, you don't have to spend 20 minutes contouring your nose. If that then leads her to be like, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm gonna sleep for an extra 20 minutes so I don't have to wake up and like dampen my beauty blender, you know, while everyone in the world is asleep, so I can feel like a little bit worthy when I walk to algebra class, then that's good, right? Yes. So I do think at the end of everything, it is helpful to impart the wisdom that you don't need to, you know, put on a full face to be worthy and to garner respect from people. You should be, like, if people are disrespectful to you and rude to you because you're not wearing makeup, that's not a failing on your part. That's not you being ugly or you being unworthy or you being a bad person. That's them being awful and them being unworthy and them being terrible and them being ugly on the inside, which is where it counts. Oh my god. Welcome to my freaking TED Talk. That was amazing. I summed that up so well. Let's talk about makeup some more. Here's like a thing that I hear on YouTube a lot that always irritates me. So recently, and by recently I mean within the past like several months, it's been a bit of a trend on YouTube for YouTubers who are not like wildly into like sheer looks and sheer coverage to try brands like Milk Makeup and Glossier. I feel like those videos always include them like recoiling in horror from like a very, very sheer foundation or something that's not, you know, not super full coverage. And they always say some variation of this sentence: you need to have perfect skin to wear this. Here's why I don't like hearing that. It implies that if you don't have perfect skin, which I interpret to mean skin free from very large pores, free from excessive oiliness, free from excessive dryness, dry patches, rosacea, psoriasis, acne, cystic acne, scars, you know, any sort of imperfection. It implies that if you have any of those things, you have to wear a full coverage foundation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're saying that in order to wear a sheer foundation, you need to have perfect skin, the opposite of that, the implied inverse, is that if you don't have perfect skin, you have to have something full coverage to cover up your gross face. You know what I mean, ladies? Like and subscribe. Let me know if I have too much like nice skin privilege to talk about this. I made a skincare video a while ago in which I talk about the fact that like I have like pretty nice skin. Like I don't want to be like that, but it is. Like I don't do much for my skin and it like looks like pretty good. Really, that's genetics. And I'm sorry, my diet is awful. I never exercise. I forget to do my skincare routine probably 3 to 4 days out of the week. It's just like this. You know why? I have my dad's skin. My mom dealt with acne when she was growing up. My dad looked like a wonderful, shiny, caramel colored apple for all 57 years of his life. You know, he had amazing glowing skin forever, and I have his skin. I have my dad's body, my mom's mind. That's just how it worked out. I have my mom's face though, and her nose. Viva Armenia. So if it's like annoying and disingenuous and not my place to speak on this, I understand, roast me. This is just something that I've noticed. I don't think that that is helpful. Like, I don't think it's helpful to spread the idea that if you have like facial impurities, you have to wear something full coverage and you have to cover them up. I'm sure a lot of people with like anything on their face do that, and it does make them feel better. And it's like, if that's true, like you're not weak for doing that. I just think it's a little like disingenuous and like not helpful coming from either people who already have like genetically perfect skin or people who are millionaires and can afford to go to, you know, Dr. Calabasas every like other week and get like squid ink and I don't know, clam venom injected into their skin so they look like they're 12 years old until they die. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? This video was such a jumbled mess. I just don't want, I just don't want beauty YouTube and beauty videos and beauty in general to be a negative in the lives of the people that watch me, and not even the people that watch me, even though they're going to be the ones who see this, but just like people in general. I derive so much joy from beauty, and I, you know, am lucky in that I didn't super get into makeup until I was like in my 20s, and I had a pretty well-formed sense of self. And I know that's not the case for a lot of people, and a lot of people are super impressionable. You don't have to be like a teenager to feel impressioned and influenced by YouTubers, but it does happen. Let's talk a little bit about purchasing. I am lucky in that I haven't dealt too much with feeling super pressured into buying because of YouTube influencers. The reason for that is not because I'm morally superior and like I have iron will and whatnot. It's because up until I was like 22, I didn't have my own credit card. So anything I bought, my mom could see that I bought, and it got real bad. This has nothing to do with makeup, but when I was a sophomore, I was drunk a lot. A sophomore in college, which is still illegal. And every time we hung out together, we would all end up ordering like drunk Domino's, and we'd all get like our own pizza. And so the Domino's order would every single time be like $45. I would usually pay it like, cause I had like a Domino's pizza profile. And my mom, when I was home for spring break once, she was like, why do you spend $45 at Domino's every week? Are you eating that much pizza? And I was like, oh my God, no, we're just drunk a lot. And so after that point, I was super careful about my purchases. And even now, it's like I'm my own mom when it comes to like, when I open up my like checking account bank statement, I'm like, what is this? You spent $52 at CVS? What did you get? And then I look around my room and it's like drugstore makeup, weird shampoo, cookies, beef jerky. I'm like, okay, that's why. Like, you kind of have to, you know, do that. But like, it's, so the reason I never, like, even when I was watching Lena Beauty YouTube, I was never like, oh, I have to buy this and this and this and this and this. It's because it's like, oh, my mom's gonna know that I bought all that stuff. She's gonna be disappointed in me, and I never want her to be disappointed in me. It literally, my mom is the most important person on earth, and if she's disappointed in me, that means I'm worthless. So I want to avoid that at all costs. But like for younger people and anyone who's dealing with like feeling pressured into buying stuff from influencers, number one, make a list of the influencers that you most commonly feel pressured to buy from and take a break from their content. And that also goes for influencers that make you feel insecure about yourself. Take a break from their content. Like, if there's someone you follow and every time you see their post, you're like, oh my God, they're so pretty. Their makeup is so amazing. I'm never gonna be that good. Sometimes that can help you learn how to like improve your craft with makeup, and sometimes it just makes you feel bad about yourself. Like, I watched It's My Ray Ray briefly in like 2015. I actually stopped watching her because she's so beautiful that it made me feel insecure. I still bought her palette though, and I love it, but I don't watch her videos. And like sometimes that's okay. If you need to remove someone from your internet life, that is fine. So in addition to appearance, like I said, that also goes for money. Also, something important to be aware of is that you don't need to use the exact product an influencer is using to get the same look. I kind of miss the way things were in like the earlier years of beauty YouTube, where instead of saying, I'm using my Morphe MM5001 MMORPG brush, it'd be like, I'm using a fluffy crease brush. And some people still do that, but I just think, you know, disassociating what you're using from like the actual brand is helpful. Even if you want to say the brand, also say what it is. Like instead of saying, I'm gonna go into my Morphe and James Charles Unleash Your Inner Artist palette, you could say, I'm going to use a blue shadow and then a pink shadow. These ones are from the whatever palette, but you can use whichever ones you have. I feel like that phrase, you can use whatever you have, has kind of been lost to the annals of YouTube history. Like no one says that anymore. And I think we should get back to that, because when we always tie everything back to like the specific thing we're using, it does, even if we don't mean it to, it does make people feel like they need to have that thing or else it's not gonna look good. Here's another nugget of wisdom that's just always good to keep in your mind. Just because something is inexpensive does not mean that you need to buy it. This is the reason why it's always important to include drugstore products and things from brands like ColourPop whenever you do an anti-haul. Because yeah, it's important to tell people like, hey, you don't need this palette that's $45. Yes, that's true, but also you don't need these 8 palettes that are all $12, you know? And I myself am guilty of being like, well, whatever, this thing is like, you know, I can throw this other Essence mascara into my cart because it's $4.99. Like, yeah, I do that, but like, it's not good. It just leads to you having way too much stuff. Another thing is you may love watching YouTubers who have giant makeup collections and oh my god, their makeup and beauty room, it looks like an Ulta store. Like, oh my goodness, that's what I want. No, you don't. Excess in that respect has like 0 positives. It's not even great because you have a bunch of choice. You're gonna get choice fatigue. It's like, I have so many options at my disposal that I can't pick anything. Stuff expires. And even if it's not expiring, it is expiring, but like aside from that, you don't even know all the things that you have. Having a running inventory when your makeup collection is that large is impossible unless your brain is literally a supercomputer. Unless you are some type of whatever happened to Robot Jones type of bench inside your cerebral cortex, there's no way you're gonna know all the things that you have. Like, I have like 11 palettes and like, these are literally all of the lip products I own. This is absurd. This is still like an absurdly large amount of lip products. You know what feels better? Having a small collection that feels like an elite squad that you know is gonna look like snatched on your face. Like, everything you own makes you feel amazing. That is what you should aspire to have. Rather than having like the Justice League, you should want the A-Team. You know what I'm saying? Rather than having a zillion products that like kind of work well together and sometimes you forget who's even in them, you should want like a small core group that can just get the job done regardless. Less Marvel Cinematic Universe, more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay? I guess I should have said Justice League Avengers. Like the A-Team? Why is that when my brain went first? Am I 45? So in summation, the bottom line of a lot of influencers is to make money. Be aware of that. Question what they tell you. Buy the things that interest you. You don't always have to be beautiful, but if thinking of yourself as beautiful helps you from not hating qualities of your body, then don't feel like you're weak-minded for that. The intersection of makeup, beauty, and self-image is complicated. It's a complicated intersection. It's like one of these like clover intersections. Do what feels good and right to you. But the most important thing to do is a small favor for me. If you could go ahead and have an amazing day for me, that would be very responsible. And please consider subscribing to my channel. If you would like to engage with me betwixt uploads, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at NisiPisa. And I also have a second channel called Extra NisiPisa that'll be linked in the description where I post music and covers. Thanks again for watching. Goodbye. Who's ready for some freaking wisdom?